And welcome back to The Price of Business. Your host today, Bill Knapik, sitting in for Kevin Price. The show continues. This is where we talk about you and your business. And now our next guest, she is an author, Traci Rapier, and she has a book called My Life as Traci. Traci, thank you and welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Traci, I love the name of your book. It's just My Life as Traci, right?
Yes.
That is great. Well, let's tell everybody, Traci, first of all, give them an idea about your book and what it's about.
Well, the book is about my life. It is about my life before I got saved. And it tells of many different things that I went through, many adversities that I had to face. And so that's what I put in the book. It's just before I got saved. And it's to inspire people, to give them hope, and it's from the age of 3 until I graduated from high school. It's just many different things that I went through. And like I said, it's before I got saved. So, it just tells about different things I went through with different family members and how I went through it and how, I hung in there and I stayed strong. So, and that's what I want to get across to other readers. Hopefully it will reach somebody and, that they'll see that they went through it and how I got through it and that they can go through it too. So just hang in there, stay strong, and don't give up.
And there you go. And that is so important. And it's important to have books like yours that do give people encouragement and tell them to stay strong like that. That we all need that. And give us an idea, too, as from the age, that young age in high school and so forth, that to have so many challenges. Tell us a little bit about some of the challenges that you faced that you had to develop this determination to go forth.
Well, some of the things I went through is like when I was younger. I remember one of my a family member, a close member of the family, had died. Mm-hmm. And I tried to commit suicide. Oh, no. And at the age of 7, I didn't understand death at all. So I didn't understand it, and it just talked about, what I went through, how I handled it, and the help that I got. I talk about things like as I was a teenager, I had another close friend that had AIDS. And how I had to deal with that and what we felt as teenagers, going through that and seeing a friend, destroying themselves. And some things I went through, like when you have two different family members of two different families, my mom's side of the family and my dad, because my mom and dad never got married, but they got married to other people, and how I had to deal with my stepmother. And some things that she put me through, and my half sister, they just did little things that I had to deal with, and just going to school and dealing with different stuff, and had to fight and defending myself, and and just have to just go through, feeling like with my dad. I felt like, the love, that the love wasn't there, like it should have been.
Yeah, right there. That's
because I felt like challenge. I should have been, he should have took up for me more when it comes to my stepmother. And, I hear other children, when I go work at different places, there was a particular job site that I was at where a woman was talking to me, and she was telling me about what her son was going through and had to deal with the stepmother. And so I gave her advice on how the child may be feeling. And my book really talks about a lot of things from a child's point of view. Going through different situations and, seeing from a child and how I handle things, at that time. Like I remember when I got a doll. This is a light thing. I remember when I got a doll, I picked it up and I threw it. And I ran to my mother because I couldn't understand why such a lifeless thing, could open and close his eyes. And
now let me
I
ask
talked
you
about one scene in there where how I got molested. You know, it's just different things that I had to go through. I mean, there's a lot of stuff, but it was just different things. And hopefully when people read the book, that they also will look at it and say, hey, I remember I went through something like that. And if you do hang in there, you will come through.
That's right. Go back to the experience with this doll. How old were you at that point? And that's a very interesting observation about you're saying about the eyes opening and that impacted you in that certain way. How old were you then?
I had to have been at least 2 years old.
Oh, my goodness.
I'm thinking about 2 because it was my very first doll that I ever got, my very first one. So, and, you know, like I said, I couldn't understand why, you know, I couldn't get it. They couldn't explain to me, you know, this is supposed to be a lifeless thing.
Right.
But yet it could still open, because back in them days, the dolls, they open and close their eyes. And they do a whole lot more now than it did when we was little. But, yeah, that thing opened up his eyes, and I was like, this thing is not supposed to be living. Why is it opening its eyes? That's what was going on through my mind. And I picked that thing up. I screamed and hollered and threw it and ran to my mama. And I would not go near a dog, not one that would open its eyes. Now, my grandmother, I had a grandmother. Her name was Grandma Inez. She got me a Raggedy Ann doll, and you'll read that in the book. She got me a Raggedy Ann doll because the eyes stayed open. And I love that doll, and I collect Raggedy Ann and Andy to this day.
Interesting. So that one was easier to understand than the one that had the eyes open and closed. That's very interesting, but it also gives us insight into a child's mind and how things impact a child. Now, tell us about how you gathered up the courage to go forth from one adversity to the other and to have that discipline and that determination. Give us a word on that.
Well, you know, I just knew that, you know, it was hard at the time when I did do that. You know, it was something on the inside of me, and I would talk to God a lot about, you know, different things that I believed in God. We went to church, so I knew there was a God, and I believed in Jesus. And so I would talk to him a lot. And I just knew, and I had my friends that I can depend on. And I had, you know, my mother, like I said, it was 2 different households. And she helped me out a whole lot, especially when I was staying up with my dad, because I went to go stay with my dad just for 1 year in the 8th grade. And that's how I came against the adversity with my stepmother. But just talking to other people and talking to the school system. You know, at the time, you know, when I had problems, you know, they let me know that if you had problems at home, that we could talk to them. So I talked to the adults. You know, when you're children, they have to know that it's important, if you're having problems at home, to make sure you talk to a trusting adult. The school officials, they're there to help them. They're not there to hurt them. So I realized that, and I recognized that, because they came to me and they saw when I was up there that I was having problems. They, you know, so they reached out to me and had me trust them and helped me out. So that's really helped me with the adults that were around me, the other different adults and people that I can talk to. And I had a brother. I had an older brother that I could also, he was only a year older than me, but I could also go to him too. But it was the different adults. That's what really helped me, Jesus and the adults. So, and children got to know that they can trust different adults and make sure they reach out and not be quiet, especially if they're being molested or something is going on in their home, to reach out, you know, and to get some help.
Exactly.
They don't have to keep it inside of them.
That's a very important word. They need to reach out. Also, tell people, Traci, how they can get your book. That's called My Life as Traci. You
can go to mylifeastraci.com.
Beautiful. Boy, that's easy to remember, too. If someone's driving, mylifeastraci.com. Ladies and gentlemen, we're talking with Traci Rapier, and she has a book called My Life as Traci. Traci, thank you for being on the show.
Oh, thank you.
All right, we'll be sure to get that book. We're going to take a short break. We're on The Price of Business. Stay tuned. We're going to be coming back with even more. I'm your guest host today, Bill Knapik, sitting in for Kevin Price, where we talk about you and your business. Stay tuned.